What would you like me to write about?
You can write about anything you want to. Look, Allison, I just didn't want you sitting around the house, that's all. You agreed to give Peyton Place a chance before leaving, and you also agreed to help out here today. So I want you to help out. If you don't want to write, well, then don't write. Go on out and back and help Jerry with the setup. You can clean up the files. Why don't you type up some copy for the finals? Type up some new subscription cards.
My hand isn't really strong enough to type anyway.
Dr. Rossi says you need some exercise.
I'll straighten up. Where would you like me to start?
It won't disturb you. There's all sorts of bits and pieces of your work around this office. They're in envelopes, they're in the files, they're underneath the blotter here, they're everywhere. I've been collecting them and keeping them in that drawer right down there.
Do you have to keep staring at me all the time?
No.
Did Mother save all these for you?
No, I got the Clarion every day.
They let you keep a thing like this in prison?
Mm-hmm. Some of the men had sweethearts and families and mothers to do the crying for them, so to keep them in line. I had that album.
18 years, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm. Well, nobody expected it to be that long, least of all me. You know, it was the days that were worst. Even worse than the months and the years. Long days that I never could have gotten through if I didn't have that album. And there were times, oh, many times, when I hated people so much I didn't care whether I ever got out. But inevitably, I always came back. This album. A tow-headed child that I had never even seen was the extent of my hope. A bright child with a fancy imagination. My child.
The fly on my glass had the sass to eat my pie with his feet. Die fly. I couldn't have written anything so silly.
You were 9.5 years old when you wrote that. Yeah. It was printed in the prison paper. Christmas time, we usually had a party. Those of us that had been in for 5 years or more, we were expected to entertain. Usually just old, stale jokes and some zany, sentimental songs, but this time I read that poem. And I brought down the house. And you were elected Pin-Up of the Week. The first ever elected unanimously.
Jensen is tougher than anything we've thrown at Stella before. I have a hunch he'll be able to crack her.
And I have a hunch he won't, so where does that leave us?
With our backs to the wall, he's the only ace I've got up my sleeve. So you better hope he's successful.
Jensen came from California, didn't he?
Yes.
What, is that accidental? All right. Now you level with me, Stephen. How'd he get here?
I bought the ticket.
Out of your own pocket?
It's a long shot.
Well, how long a shot? I mean, what are the odds?
Well, if you like favorites, bet on Stella.
But you picked up the tab for the ticket. Why?
Because I want to see you acquitted. I want you out of here. Your father wants a guarantee that the sun will come up in the morning. Now, if I finance my own gambles and they don't pan out, nobody gets the kick but me.
I thought lawyers were supposed to be super reasonable, objective people, detached from their cases. Well, you're acting like an indulgent uncle who just shelled out $300 of his own money on a wild flyer. Now, that's not reasonable or objective.
Maybe not. Maybe this isn't that kind of case.
Maybe you're not that kind of lawyer. You remember when we were kids, we used to throw pans at each other in the kitchen? Well, we've come a long way since then, haven't we?
Move your red 9 on your black 10. And then expose another ace. Bob?
Thanks, Counselor.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hoyt, report to surgery.
Yes?
I'd like to see Dr. Rossi, please.
Dr. Rossi's in surgery. May I help you?
Well, maybe you can. I'm from North Atlantic Drugs. I wanted to drop off some free samples, but, well, if you could direct me to the doctor's office, I would leave my card.
Well, Miss Chernak, this gentleman has some samples for Dr. Rossi. Maybe you could talk with him? Miss Chernak is Dr. Rossi's assistant.
How do you do, Miss Chernak? My name is Blair. Fred Blair. Since the doctor's out, maybe I could talk to you.
Well, I'm busy.
It'll only take a minute. And if I can't, well, I'll only have to come back.
What are you doing here?
Madam, my company has a new line of drug they're interested in. I'd like to talk to you about it, may I? All right, where's the key to Funny Hat Land?
I told you I'm only a lab assistant. I don't even know where the narcotics are kept.
Don't put me on, Stell. You've never been anywhere that you didn't know what was happening. Well, if you don't have the key, then the good doctor must have it. Nice cozy office you got here, Stell.
Dick.
You and the doc, you spent a lot of time here together, huh? You two must be pretty close by now. I want that key, Stell, and I want it tonight.
Dick, please. Dr. Rossi could be back any minute.
Dr. Rossi won't be out of surgery before noon. Then he has to make the rounds of the wards, and then he has to hustle over to a board meeting at 1 o'clock. I'm not worried about the doctor, Stell. I'm worried about you. Yeah. You don't seem to want to please me anymore. Hey, baby. Oh, come on. Hey, take it easy. It's me, remember? The guy you'd do anything for. Hey, Dickie, baby. You want a new suit? Just pick it out. Want a box seat at the ball game? Sure, I'll get up early. Wait in line.
You bet your birthday I don't want to please you anymore.
But you will, won't you, Stell? Won't you, sweetheart?
Get out of here.
Not a chance, baby. See, you got it all wrong. You're not paying the rent now. Stephen Cord is. Yeah, he told me some interesting things about you. Like how you put the screws to that Harrington kid. Just like you did to me. Well, This hospital's a nice, clean place. Not like where I just came from. Like where they're trying to send that Harrington kid. Now, I could fix it so you'd find out for yourself. I mean, all I'd have to do is walk out of here, go down the street, walk into that police station. But that's not my style, Stell. But you cross me on this thing. You don't get any more chances. Now, you get that stuff out of the icebox, and you bring it to me. I'll be in the parking lot after work. Hmm? Oh, and Stell, put on something a little more, well, you know. I mean, we might want to have some laughs. Hmm? For old time's sake. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Who was that? The fella just left.
Our salesman. I didn't think you'd have time for him today.
I don't. 10 minutes late for a board meeting right now. Well, I suppose I should have had you send those records on up ahead of me.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
Step aside. Not yet. But until I do, you'll stay away from him. Arguing about your son as if he were a piece of meat.
You've set a great record for lying. Well, that's one family custom that's going to stop. You're going.
I am not going, and I'm not kidding.
We face Stella together, or you use that return ticket.
Don't push, Counselor.
4:30, my office.